To prove their suitcases couldn't be broken, the Shwayder brothers, founders of Samsonite, stacked 5 grown men on a single plank on top of one suitcase, their own father included, more than 1,000 pounds of them, and put the photo on their advertising. 3 words underneath, strong enough to stand on. That was the whole promise, and the company even named itself after Samson, the strongman from the Bible. For decades, the promise held. Then the company broke it. In 2001, Samsonite closed its Denver factory, 4,000 jobs at its peak, down to 340 at the end, and moved the work to India, China, and Hungary. The name that once meant unbreakable now gets stamped on luggage people say falls apart in a season. But 4 American companies never broke that promise. They still build luggage here, the way Samsonite used to, and one of them was started by the man who co-founded Samsonite's biggest rival. We'll get to him. First, how the strongest name in luggage went soft. To understand what Samsonite lost, you have to understand how it started. In 1910, a Denver salesman named Jesse Shwayder took his life savings, $3,500, and started a trunk company with his father and his brothers. Shwayder was deeply religious, and he ran the whole business on a single rule, the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. He had it engraved on a band wrapped around a marble, handed one to every employee and even to factory visitors, and told them to look at it before any big decision. And he meant it. When he toured the plants in his later years, he would ask a worker to show him their marble, and anyone who could produce it got an hour off, paid on the spot. For 90 years, that held. Then it got sold, and sold again. By the time the private equity firm CVC Capital Partners bought it in 2007 for $1.7 billion, Samsonite was on its 5th owner in 21 years. Under that kind of ownership, the job isn't to build a better suitcase, it's to hit a number every quarter, every month, sometimes every week. 2 years later, the company's U.S. retail arm filed for bankruptcy. In 2011, it went public, not in America, but in Hong Kong, where it still trades today under the ticker number 1910, the year it was founded. And in 2016, Samsonite spent $1.8 billion to acquire TUMI, the very brand that had become its biggest rival, a detail that matters when we get to what happened next. Nobody planned any of it. It's just where the strongest name in American luggage ended up, an overseas stock, its biggest hard luggage factory in Nashik, India, a long way from a golden marble in a Denver salesman's pocket. Meanwhile, brands Samsonite now owns, American Tourister and Hartman Luggage among them, follow the same offshore playbook, while newer competitors like Away sell similarly priced cases made overseas and call it innovation. Now, here's who kept the promise. Start in Billings, Montana, with a company founded by a Green Beret. Jim Markell Sr. spent 20 years in the military, a special forces officer and a parachute rigger in Vietnam, the man whose stitching had to hold when someone's life depended on it. When he retired to Billings in 1986, he started sewing again. First weightlifting straps out of decommissioned military webbing in his basement. Then, after a cheap field bag failed him one day, travel bags. He called it Red Ox. Today, his son runs it, also a retired military rigger, and they still stitch every bag by hand in Montana. with parachute-grade stitching, 1000 denier cordura, and industrial zippers, backed by what they call the No Bull Lifetime Warranty. A parachute riggers company, sewing luggage like your life depends on it. 3/4 of the way across the country, in Schenectady, New York, there's a similar story. Mark Goldstein came home from military service in Alaska and couldn't find a civilian pack built to the standard he was used to. So in 1970, he started making his own. 55 years later, Tough Traveler is still family-owned, still in Schenectady. And here's the part that counts. It has never once outsourced. Not to Mexico, not to Asia, not anywhere. Every bag is still made in that same New York factory, many by people who've been there for decades. Briggs & Riley, another American brand, does things similarly, though their manufacturing footprint is smaller. Tough Traveler's never outsourced record stands alone. Down in San Antonio, Texas, there's a fourth one, and it started the way a lot of good American companies did, with somebody using up what he had lying around. In 1973, a man named Don Snell bought a tent and awning business and started sewing bags out of the leftover canvas. That became Jon Hart Design. Snell eventually sold it to go be an actor, but the company stayed in San Antonio, and 50 years later it's still there, still handcrafting leather and canvas luggage by hand, still never having sent a single bag overseas. Built by artisans who've been at the same benches for 10, 20 years. And now the one we promised at the start. Remember the man who co-founded Samsonite's biggest rival? His name is Charlie Clifford, and his story is stranger than you'd guess. In the 1960s, he served in the Peace Corps in Peru, and he came home with a love of handmade things and the name of a Peruvian ceremonial blade, the TUMI. In 1975, he started a luggage company and called it TUMI. Then he did something nobody in luggage had done. He built bags out of ballistic nylon, the material originally made for flak jackets. And those black, bomb-proof TUMI bags became the standard every business traveler carried for the next 40 years. Clifford built TUMI into a giant, sold it, and retired. Then in 2016, Samsonite bought it for $1.8 billion. And then, in his 70s, Clifford started over. And this time he built the company in America. It's called Rome, assembled in Vidalia, Georgia, and it makes the one thing almost none of the others do. A hardside spinner suitcase, the direct replacement for the Samsonite you grew up with, in US-made polycarbonate, customizable down to the zipper pulls. TSA agents handle thousands of bags a year, and the difference between a bag that survives baggage claim and one that doesn't comes down to exactly the kind of construction Rome uses. The man who knew luggage better than almost anyone looked at where it had all gone and chose to build here. And here's the part that matters if you're actually shopping. None of this is boutique money. Red Ox's Airboss carry-on runs about $255, and its lifetime warranty follows the bag to whoever owns it, not just the person who bought it. Roam's American hardside is around $450, against $700 for a TUMI or a Rimowa made overseas. You're not paying extra to buy American here. You're paying less for something that outlives the trip. The exact thing Samsonite used to sell and stopped. So there's your answer. Samsonite spent a century telling you a suitcase could be strong enough to stand on, then sold that promise overseas and let the name go soft. 4 companies never did. A Green Beret's duffel from Montana, a never outsourced bag from New York, a Texas bag sewn at the same bench for decades, and an American hardside from the man who built TUMI. Next time you're in an airport surrounded by luggage that won't survive the baggage handlers, you'll know there was another way, and exactly who still builds it.